Welcome guys, so this is TB Bender Studio, and today I'm going to be showing you how to walk around and manipulate samples. If you are new to AKAI MPC Live 2 and you want to know how to quickly get around using samples to work, chopping them, mixing them, and then basically just extracting what you need out of the samples, yes, that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's go. Basically, taking advantage of just starting an empty project. We're not doing anything much. We're not going to be producing beats. This is the AKAI MPC Live 2, like you already know. So what I just do is I'll go to one of my files and then pick up a sample there. Then we're going to talk on how we're going to quickly review how to chop them and basically what we can do, the power of edit samples. That's what we're going to be looking at, the power of edit samples and what are the things that we can do with samples. So let's go. We'll go into the menu. Let me go and browse for one of the samples I can work with. Let me go to this folder. Let me see. We have beatpack, expansions, samples. I have my splice folder is also here. Okay, let me see. Let me check what's inside the beat. Okay, beatpacks. Okay, my lander folder. Let me see. I have vocals here. Let me see. Let's see if we can work with one of the vocals. Then just take a peek at what you have right now. Like, let's scroll through them. Hopefully you hear what they sound like. Yes. No, that's just okay. No, that's not. That's nice. Okay, this is good. I'm just trying to pick up. Just see one we can work with. Let's work with this. Yep. So I load it and thank you. Stop. If I come to sample assign, let me just put it on the very first one we have here. Click on it. Go back to my main. Now it's already on the program one. If you go to program, if you press this, yes. So that's what we have. Thank you. Stop. So we now come to edit samples. What we want to do with samples, you can basically chop them into smaller bits and pick exactly what you need from it. You can probably level it, like increase the volume or a particular part you like, or you can choose to, maybe like fade it out, fade it in. Let's just go straight in there. Let's dive in and I'll show you what are the things you can actually do. So edit sample. This is where we are right now. As you can see, it's just one play. I call this S my own. This is actually supposed to be the start and this is the end. That's why you have SE. But then for me, this is my head, this is the tail. So you have your head and tails on the start and the end, depending on how you're looking at it. So the first thing you need to know is you can actually chop this off and then lay it on like all your pads. That way, because right now as it is, if I press this pad 1, what it will do is it will play from beginning to the end. As you can see, player is moving. It keeps moving like that until it gets to the end. I don't want that. All I want you to be able to, maybe like take the first one, take the second one, so I can rearrange them and do whatever I want with it. I go to trim. From the trim mode, the trim mode, you can go to chop mode. Then you have the manual, how do you want to select it, or you go to threshold, or you go to region. So basically, manual mode, what you're trying to say is when you press the pad, it will start moving. You'll be using your hand to actually press on the next pad where you want that head count to start from, the next play head. So if I do here and I do this, it assumes that is 2, and I come here, it assumes that's 3, and I press it. So basically, you're just following like that, 8. So basically what you've done now is you successfully use the manual mode to chop the samples from 1 to 8 parts. So if I press this now, it only plays for me what is strictly on that bar, and then I go to this, it does that for me. Now, since I already have something like this already, why will I need maybe like this? It's kind of like it's repeating them a bit. Yeah, fine, but we can still do something with them as we go on. So don't worry, I'll show you what we can do with them. Now, that's just one aspect of what you can do with your slice. Basically, right now, as you've known, you can use either you can do this using your manual or your threshold or your set regions. Basically, right now, this one has just one region. If I go and I start increasing the region, maybe that's what I'm trying to say is I want to be able to have like about, let's say at the same time 8. As you can see, as I am increasing or reducing the regions, you have the quarters, that is the start and the end, also increasing. And what that means is you can easily press on the tail of one and put it where you want it to be. So let's say I want it to be here, to pick that alone. Then if I come to 2, I can put 2, I can set 2 to be here from here. Yep. Then you go to 3, you can bring 3 down here and stop it here. Don't mind, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky working with this guy trying to get it. That's why, okay, let me just increase this, the length, as in the screen size. The 4th one too. There's the 4th one. I just stop it here. So, anyways, you get the idea. Basically, that is if you are trying to use your region and then you're trying to resize or rearrange it the way, but probably using just your own. You can just slide it, shift the head or the tail to the starting point and the finishing point, and that will take care of your samples in terms of chopping it. Now, let's see what can we do with each of these samples individually. If I come here to the very first one, nice one. So maybe like there's a like a hip hop beat going on, and then you just go. That's basically how you work with samples, right? You chop it up into smaller pieces and then you rearrange them to suit or to fit in exactly what you want to use it for. But then there's still a lot more we can do with it. So if you listen closely, there's kind of like a at the end of this. How can we silence that? That is when you can now go to, you know what, okay, let me go back to the trim mode, and then because this is the first one, or this one you're working with right now, as you can see, from here, you basically just go to process. So what do you want to do on this particular sample? If you silence basically means it will just mute everything. Don't worry, we have the undo button, so we're going to be doing one by one, then we'll be using undo. So let me hit do it. Can you see right here it's flattened it, nothing, sound doesn't come up again. That is what silence does. Let me undo, brings it back, undo. I love that. Very, very awesome. Then we're going into process. What are the other functions we can perform there? We have extract. Extracting means to take it away from that particular place and put it on a new pad on itself. It's to extract that particular sample from that place, put it on a different pad on itself, on its own. You can even set it on a different, like a program on its own tab on it. So that's basically what this extract for. New sample, as you can see, it takes it out. The next one, normalize. Let's say that volume is not kind of regular, it's low. If you enable normalize, it balances the volume for you some more, makes it kind of like more audible or louder per se for samples. That's okay. Let me see. Let me cancel this. You can see what we have right now. Let me play it. Let's do the normalize. Let's do it. You can see, even from the look of the wave pattern, it actually changes. So while you are looking at it, let me do undo. You can see it becomes smaller. That's what normalize does. So next one will be reverse. We'll be hearing na before now. So let's see what happens when we reverse it. Do it. Can you say? So sometimes the likes of Timbaland and Co, they love to reverse samples a lot and make use of it. They love to reverse. So that's what we're talking about. Then you go to, let me undo, take it back. Cool. Let's go to process again. We have fade in. It will silence the beginning and then leave it to the end. So let's also do it and hear how it sounds like. You can see fades in. Let me undo to the default. You can see here that at the end. If you want to take off that at the end, basically what we can do is use fade out. So linear, then do it. You can see that was kind of like prominent or obvious before, is no longer there. We can still do some more things, can still play with the pad and all that to reduce it to the minimum level. But then for now, fade out works a lot if you really just want to take care of anything that is, away from what you don't want. Versus, yeah, that's what it is. So let's continue. We have a pitch shift. So what we have right now is, oh, sorry, I can't play while it's here. But then if you increase your pitch, it basically will take it either up or down the tone. And then you notice that there's a lot of difference. So pitch shift, and then I maybe take it to 5 and I do it. And you hear that? Yep, that's basically what it is. So no, let me just cancel and undo. Take you back to this. And if you want to pitch down, you need it to come down. Sorry, let me go to pitch shift. You need to come down to the minus, let's say -5 as well. And you do it, it's going to be deeper. See, what sounds like a female voice now sounds like a male voice. Yep, so that's what that does for you. Let me undo. Go back to process. What other thing can we do here? We can, we can change the gain and all that. And that's, I think, about the last one. So that is it on basically what you can do. That is the power of your edit samples, right? Basically, you want to edit your sample. That's the power of edit samples. Some of the things you can do with it right out of the box without even having to start putting, let me now add maybe EQ. Let me add some EQ and do this and that. But before then, right out of the box, you can easily just do those things. You can chop it up into smaller pieces. You can easily perform some 1 or 2 things on them directly from your, let me show you. No samplers. From your sample edit. And that will take care of everything. And this can make a beat. So, and that's how awesome it is to work on this awesome AKAI Professional MPC Live 2. You can start doing things right out of the box. That's basically how to, work with your samples on the AKAI Professional MPC Live 2, sampling made easy. I hope we picked 1 or 2 things, and we'll see you in the next one.